wanted to welcome those of you who have already joined us for our 2022 Broker Growth Summit. This is our second annual of this event. We did this last fall as well, and we've had a really great response. Over 1,000 people registered for this event, so we're really excited to share the great information that our various speakers have prepared for you today. Our whole purpose with this is really to try to get to help you be more successful in your brokerage, help you source and sell more businesses, and share a lot more information from industry experts that will help you be successful. To close out the year strong and go into 2023 ready to go. So I am going to tell you a little bit about our speakers today. So I'm Bob House. I lead the Business Buy Sell team here at CoStar Group, and I'll just have a few minutes at the beginning here to share some information, some updates from Business Buy Sell. We have a great panel of distinguished speakers, industry veterans. Many of you, I'm sure, know all these folks already, and we are looking forward to hearing from Lisa, Ron, and Len. Lisa's going to cover an update on the IBBA and the Market Pulse report. Ron's going to cover a bunch of stuff around the Business Broker tech stack and information from Business Brokerage Press. And Len's going to talk about how to write a great listing and that gets response. Doug will close it out with some tips on Biz Buy Sell and we'll how to use Biz Buy Sell most effectively and get the maximum response out of your investment with Biz Buy Sell. So I've kind of just given you that preview. Again, this is the content we're going to cover today. And the way that we get you to be engaged and stick around to the end is we offer prizes. So we're excited to offer these fantastic prizes. There'll be a grand prize winner of a $2,500 Hilton vacation voucher. We'll have 2 runner-up prize winners of the iPad Pro, and we'll have 3 winners receive AirPods Pro. So you need to stick around to the end. There will be a quiz, so you need to pay attention. And once that quiz is presented at the end, you complete it, and we'll draw the winners from that. There are some other prizes that, in addition to these, and we've kind of done the math based on last year's event. And your odds of having something shipped to you are about 1 in 13 based on assumptions of response rates and whatnot. So that's pretty darn good. So I'd stick around. A few kind of housekeeping points for questions. There's a Q&A section at the top or in your Zoom panel. And please go ahead and enter your questions in that. We will be happy to answer them. We will try to answer them maybe along the way in some of the speaker sections. If we can't, we'll try to get to them at the end. There'll be a Q&A session at the end. And if we can't answer every question, some may be answered directly to you, or we'll certainly compile a list of all the questions and the answers and make that available as part of the final presentation materials. So this webinar is being recorded, so you don't have to worry about taking a bunch of notes. In fact, we will send you the link to the recording. We'll send you a link to the materials in the deck so that you have this information. So you can just focus on paying attention and learning a lot of great stuff from our speakers today. So with that, I wanted just to give you a quick update from Biz Buy Sell. So I've shared this before, but it's worth repeating. Like, what is Biz Buy Sell trying to do for brokers? Well, our goal is to help you sell more businesses faster and at maximum value with minimum friction to make you more money. That's what we're really trying to do when we think about our broker customers. How do we do that? Well, we think about it in 3 kind of ways. We first try to maximize exposure and response to both your listings so that you get more buyers, and also your services so that you get more sellers. And that's job number 1, giving you the most exposure we can. 2 is we give you the tools to measure that marketing effectiveness. So like, how's your investment doing on the platform? And how can I get more response? And finally, we know that leads are work. So we do want to look at improving lead qualification as we can. And this is probably the area that we have the most area to improve on, but we are looking at helping better qualify the leads that you get. So, I mean, this is what we set out to do. And to that first point, we really are focused on the maximum exposure for you and your investment on our platform. We do that through this network. We launched this about 5 years ago, the BizBuySell BrokerWorks network. And now we're over 3 million monthly visits and counting to the network every month. So, when you advertise with BizBuySell, your listings get and your broker profile gets distributed to these partner sites, and you can be found across the web. How do we do that? Well, buyers and sellers can't miss you when they search on Google, and that's where people generally start. Here's an Orlando restaurants for sale search, and obviously we do very well with the organic results at the bottom. But we also invest a lot in paid pay-per-click and AdWords and drive a lot of traffic. So you're going to be found when people search for businesses or for brokers on the internet. So we've had great success over the last 5 years since we launched the network. Here's a 5-year trend of sessions or visits to our network of sites. And you can see that we've essentially more than doubled now the traffic to the network over the last 5 years. So fantastic value, getting lots of leads, and we've heard from lots of you that it's been a great result. So that's kind of the past and what we've been doing on from the marketing and exposure front. But I wanted to share a little bit about some recent investments that we've made in BrokerWorks, so that you're aware that we continue to invest in the platform. We look at you are our shareholders in this endeavor, and we want to make sure that we're spending your investments wisely. So we're always looking at improving the platform. So here are some recent things that you may or may not be aware of that we've launched recently. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide because I have visuals I'm going to walk you through for each of these, but we've added listing statistics. So you can see listing statistics for any listing on our platform, whether it's yours or someone else's. Now your membership comes with an included valuation report. Every month you get a free valuation report. Of course, you can earn more if you submit comps, which you get free for every comp you submit. We've added listing lifecycle management so that now you can move listings from active to off market to sale pending and sold much more easily. We've improved the comps considerably. I'll go into that a bit. We've made it easier to highlight your success by featuring your sold businesses on your broker profile. We've added a new languages section on your profile and improved the links section. We've got more enhancements coming there where we're planning on really updating and professionalizing further the profile on our platform. And then finally, we have brought up some performance data on the My Listings dashboard so you can more easily compare performance of your listings relative to each other. And we're really working on, we've talked about this before, driving more seller leads your way. Thousands of business owners come to our platform every month and register for our content and our services. And we want to find more ways beyond just them searching and finding you in the directory to actively match them to brokers who are looking for owners who are looking for assistance in selling. So these are some highlights. I want to give a quick shout out to our product development team. The entire product development team has done a fantastic job delivering this feature set this year, and much more exciting stuff to come. So again, at the bottom of every listing, whether it's your listing or not, we have this listing statistics section. It's now, if you're authenticated and logged into BrokerWorks, you can see this, and you can see how your listing is comparing to others in the market. And it's a very kind of quick way to get a sense for what's popular and how your listing is doing. I'll let you guess which one is the diamond listing, but it's kind of towards the lower right. We added listing lifecycle management. So when you're in the edit listing feature and there's a section there that lets you say this is an active listing. Let's say you have not quite approval from your owner yet, or for whatever reason you need to take it off market temporarily. You can quickly move it to off market. If it's under contract, you have a sale pending, but you don't want to take it down yet until that deal is closed, you can move it to sales pending, and that'll flag the listing with that information. Or you can mark it as sold. And when you mark it as sold, you get the 3 comp credits. You obviously help generate the data for the industry on our insight report. And finally, you get to feature those businesses that you've sold on your profile. So here's the sale pending. It's very simple. Appears on your listing when you put it in that state. Another thing that we've done is we've really improved the comps. We surveyed you last year and found that you really wanted better comps. People use our comps a lot to help price businesses. So, and at the time we were only kind of capturing the sale price. So now when you move the status to sold, it will present with a more complete kind of data capture. And we fill in the information from the listing that you've had in the listing, but you can edit it and make sure it's accurate. And this is really around, is the inventory included in the sales price? Is the real estate included in the sales price? What was the real estate value, et cetera? So that we really know exactly what it is. We can compute the best multiples and again, have higher quality comps for you to help price your business. So that's a big and new thing that has been really a great addition. Clients find you through Google very often, as we all know. And when they search for you, they'll Google your name or they'll Google business brokers. Here's two searches with the two different search approaches. And you're going to show up. BizBuySell is going to show up when they do this. So, obviously Matt here has done a great job with his website appearing first. LinkedIn is obviously another very important page for Matt. But there is profile is the third organic result. Again, if you look at the organic results for business brokers, BizBuySell has the leading directory for this and will often appear at the top of the list. So they come through Google, they find you via the directory, and you want to highlight your success. So this is our ongoing plea to build a great profile and represent yourself well on our platform, because people look at these pages. So make sure you have a good picture, fill out all the information. But some new things we've done is we've added this sold tab to your profile, and you can feature up to 5 listings that you've sold here on your profile. And it'll also show how many you've sold on BizBuySell over time. So yet another reason to submit these comps, just so that people know how successful you've been. If you don't want to feature these, you don't have to, and this tab goes away. But it's there for you. When people click into the detail, they'll just get a summary of the sale. So it doesn't reveal the, anything that you don't want to reveal proprietary about which business it was specifically. And this is how it'll look. So, and that's true of all the comps in our database. We try to let you be in control of what you want to disclose, and whether you want to participate and whether you want to feature it on your site or just have it be part of the comps database. So anyway, highlight your success. Another thing you can do is we've added this languages capability where you can say, I support English, Spanish, and Hindi here. Thank you, Rupesh, for this example of you've adopted the feature already. And so go ahead and edit your profile and add your languages supported. That'll help sellers find brokers who can speak their native tongue. And we've also updated the link section. So it used to just be a long list of URLs, and now we've got links to your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your YouTube, and any other website links that you want to include. So go ahead and update your profiles and add those links, and I think it'll help you. Another thing we've done here, and I'm going to try to wrap up here pretty quick because I got about a minute left, is we've added this listing stats to your My Listings dashboard. So now when you go to My Listings in BrokerWorks, you'll see some summary view on the left-hand side here, where how many views has that listing had, how many people have saved it, searched and favorited it, and a quick link to get into the stats so you can kind of view the impressions and the performance data of that listing. So it helps you compare listings next to each other versus having to drill into each listing specifically. You can also very conveniently update the listing status from this page, where you can just use that drop down to move it to off market. And then finally, there's a new preferences section around seller preferences. Please go in and complete this. This is going to help us power the new product that we're working on, that we're going to be piloting here in the fourth quarter and launching next year, that will more actively match you to owners who want a broker to help them. So by filling this out, we'll help us match those sellers to you. So I wanted to give a quick shout out, and I'm going to wrap up here to keep us on schedule. We have this wonderful broker advisory council who's been helping us with all these product enhancements, with many other things, improving our services to the brokerage community. So a huge thank you to this group. We meet regularly, we have subcommittees, and they've been really, really helpful in that endeavor. And finally, we have a wonderful growing set of brokers who are contributing content to our website. Sheila, Larry, Robert, and Robin have all written excellent content. You can find it in our Learning Center. I've heard stories that these brokers have received sellers reach out to them as a result of their contributions. If you would like to participate in our Good Writer and want to add content to our library, please reach out to Adam, and he would be happy to talk to you about that. But thank you to those who have been contributing. We've received a lot of really great feedback about this. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Lisa. And while Lisa's getting ready to share her screen, I'll give her a quick introduction. Lisa leads the Market Pulse survey. I think she's going to talk about that. She's the past chair of the IBBA, founder of Delta Business Advisors down in Arizona. And we're just really excited to have Lisa share more information with us today. So Lisa, take it away.
Thank you. I need you to stop sharing your screen so I can share.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you. So for those, thank you so much, Bob, for doing this, for helping us out, all as brokers, as we continue to learn and improve. So thank you, Cbi Self, for giving us this opportunity to share. For those of you who joined us at the Business Brokerage Press just on Tuesday, some of the slides will be the same, but you will see a lot of differences. So first up, today I'm going to say and discuss what makes a business saleable and an acquisition target to help improve the odds of selling the business that you've got engaged as a client. And then I am going to give a huge shout out to IBBA, M&A Source, and what a CBI is, so you know what's going on in the industry associations. First of all, deal or no deal. We all know what makes an attractive business, but how do we encourage our clients to know that? We share information. The IBBA M&A Source Market Pulse Quarterly Survey started a simple 10 years ago in 2012. So every quarter, as brokers, you are asked, to submit what you've done and give your perception of what's going on in the market. That market can tell us a lot. And so it's broken up into the Main Street market, which is up to about 1 to 2 million business purchase price, and the lower middle market that ranges from that 1 to 2 million up to 50 million. You can find all the additions at these links for IBBA. As we have a wide variety of brokers on here today and advisories, some business owners, perhaps, and even some buyers, these are the definitions that I will be using throughout this presentation. So Main Street are all those businesses that sold for values of 0. Yes. Can that happen? Not really, but you get the idea, less than 2 million. And then the lower middle market are those at 2 to 50 million. EBITDA is simply earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. The EBITDA you will see as more of what's reported and shown for lower middle market deals. The Main Street deals, on the other hand, typically deal with sellers' discretionary earnings. I was just on a call yesterday, a private equity group looking at Main Street businesses, and they're like, none of these numbers make sense. So know what you're looking at when you're looking at numbers. Sellers' discretionary earnings, for those of you who are keeping track, are just simply EBITDA plus 1 full-time owner-operator salary and those discretionary items. So if you have questions, I'm sure Len and Ron can type some answers to any of these as we are going through. So why do business owners actually sell? Well, in the market pulse, we do every quarter, but every year we take the full year and put all deals together that happened that year. So in 2021, retirement was still the number one reason at 54%, but this is much lower than prior years. There was a lot of things going on, as you know, in 2020, 2021. Retirement had been, up until 2021, the most sought reason for a seller to go to market. Do business owners prepare their business for sale? If you're talking to a client or a future client, you can say that, hey, even those that did sell, most of them don't do any planning. So why don't you get ahead and start planning? On average, you can see the lower the business price that it sold for, the less planning is done. However, what's surprising is even in that $5 to $50 million price point, almost 1/3 of those business owners had not even planned for sale. Why did that happen? Sometimes there's an unexpected offer. Somebody gets an offer they can't refuse, they weren't planning, or quote unquote, there was a health or some other reason where they had to sell. They were not planning on selling. So the bottom line across there is what the business actually sold for, not what the revenues were. How many owners have an idea of what their business is worth? I'd say put it in the Q&A, but very, very few. They'll tell you, hey, Joe down the street got a multiple of X. Well, what's that a multiple of? It depends, because the median multiples increase with the company size. Larger businesses, meaning larger revenue, larger bottom line, get higher multiples. The lower the bottom line and the revenue, the Main Street businesses, those multiples are typically lower. This compares Q2 way back from 2014 through the years through 2022. And you can see at that Main Street business that sold for less than $500K, these businesses sold for a multiple between 1.8 and 3.3 of sellers' discretionary earnings on average. Although most, with the blip in 2020 and 2021, were right about that 2x multiple. If you've got a seller coming in or a client coming in and telling you they've got a 5x multiple, it's not going to make sense at that level. What's really intriguing too is on the larger businesses, those that sell between $5 million and $50 million, you will see that the values have gone up and crept up. But in 2022, with all the fears that are coming, that the headwinds we have been talking about, the multiples are creeping back down a little bit. So everybody then wants to know, what am I going to get to take home? How much money do I actually get? This education point for yourself and your clients is critical. Businesses that sell typically less than $2 million go to market with an asking price. Those that sell in the $5 to $50 million or so typically go to market without an asking price, but they have a benchmark price. You cannot just tell your client, hey, let's go to market and see what it's going to be. This is where we're expecting it to be. Is that always the case? No. There are lots of reasons why one would be gone to market without a price and sell for less than $1 million. It does happen. It depends upon the type of buyer. So in this chart right here, you can see that in Q2 from 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, that asking price or the benchmark price, pretty much across the line, those who were selling for less than 500K were getting about that 80% to 82% of that asking price at time of closing. Those that were selling in the 5 million to 50 million were at or above what the benchmark price was expected to be. And that is where your education comes in critical. The more we educate our clients as to what the price should be, the higher the likelihood that that price will come in, asking or benchmark, as to where it will be. Because if you're going to be telling your client, hey, you're going to be getting about 80% of that asking price, and then they're like, okay, what do I walk away with in cash? Again, we're about 80% of that price. Seller carries, earnouts, those items continue on as potential ways to bridge the gap, but you're still looking just over 80%, 80 to 90% in that 500K to 1 million and to 2 million in Q2 of 2021, but that has pulled back some this year. And what you can see that's really unique about this chart is in the 5 to 50 million, you will see a large amount of seller financing, meaning we're bridging the gap between the value at the time of closing and the purchase price with more seller carry. So, how long does it take to sell a business? And again, the answer can be, it depends, but you want to go into your meeting with a little bit less flippant of an answer. This again depends upon the type and the preparation of business. The average number of months from closing from engagement, meaning engagement to sell, is, 6 months to a year. But those at the lower end selling for and lower doesn't mean anything except for this price point here, selling for less than 500K, they typically sell quicker than those selling for 5 to 50 million. Know your audience, know your type of client. But, the main difference is once you get that offer, how long does it actually take to close? Again, it depends, but these are the average number of months, and you can see that that's 2 to 4 months. So at that point, you're telling your client, this is what it takes on average, but please be aware, this is an average. It can take up to 2 years to sell a business, or it can take 5 years to sell, or you can sell it in, a few months. And who is buying these businesses? From last year, this is again taking across the entire year, so over 1,000 deals, you can see that in 2021, first-time individuals and those who have owned a business before were the bulk of the buyers. They made up over 50%. Existing companies and strategics were buying up another quarter. So that left private equity firms, both platforms, which are those that are buying a company to be the company and then adding on other companies to get that platform company growing bigger and bigger and bigger, so then they can sell it at a much higher multiple. But again, this depends. In the Main Street market, the individual was by far the most likely buyer in 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. But you can see that is not the case at all for the lower middle market. That likely type of buyer is pretty much across the board an existing company acquiring. Private equity does not tend to buy those businesses for less than $2 million. You can see a few in 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. There's a few private equity groups dipping down here, but it's not the norm. Whereas they take a big quarter of those selling in the lower middle market. They're the buyer. So know your buyer, know your seller, and know what industries are hot. And last year, we saw a huge difference between all prior years. From 2019 and before, in the Main Street business, restaurants were pretty much consistently number one. Restaurants turn. So those restaurant brokers, and you know who you are, always were doing well. Lots of turn. In 2020 and 2021, personal services and business services started to really ramp up in the Main Street business. You can see in 2021, construction and engineering started creeping up. There was a lot of merging and acquiring of businesses for both contracts and employees. In the lower middle market, on the other hand, you will see manufacturing is pretty much a stalwart. Manufacturing and construction and engineering are two top businesses year in and year out. Some are forecasting in 2023 and 2024. Construction may not be. So if that is your industry, be watching the industry news. I don't know how many times a day I get asked, when is a good time to sell? When is the best time to sell? Well, once again, it depends. A good business is saleable at any time, as Len will tell you. I'm sure he'll be talking all about that. But as you can see in 2021, the perception was, and it was true, there was a lot of money out there. So sellers really had their choice of buyers. On the other hand, in that Main Street market, those that sell for less than $1 million, it typically is a buyer's market. And the reason is there are more businesses, and some of them are just not as wanted by the buyers. In 2021, that 500K to $1 million, it went right up into that seller's market. 2022, we've seen a pullback or a move more to a buyer's market. If you are representing buyers, that is good news for you. However, when we look over the years, as I said, we started the market pulse survey in Q2 of 2012, and we look through the years, you can see that the sentiment again varies based upon where we are, based upon what's going on. In Q2 of 2020, everything plummeted. And for those of you who are new to the industry, it was a time where deals stopped and everybody pulled in as well. So why? We're going to talk about COVID, but that's not the only thing that affected markets. First, in Q1 of this year, the negative events of labor shortages, supply chain, interest rate, inflation, global conflict, those were all starting to show. By Q2, we have multiple negative effects. Everything on this chart, there was nothing here that came out positive overall. So in a score from -2, from very negative to very positive 2, you can see that end, all the negative numbers. But breaking that apart, the labor shortage, the inflation, and cost of labor were beginning to really be felt. Interest rate hikes were starting, but not so much as now. On the other hand, in the lower M&A market, it was pretty much all about the labor shortages and supply chain and inflation starting to get felt. Those were the main issues there, but again, not a positive effect at all. So what do you take away from here? You take away to be able to educate your client that industry, size, type of buyer, the market conditions, and the timing all play a big effect on when they should sell and what type of price they're going to get. Now, that's all about Q2, Q1 last year, and all the prior years. This survey is open for Q3. And please note that if you take it, you pretty much get all slides. That means 2 decks with slides broken out by price of business. So less than 500, all of those categories up to 5 to 50 million, broken out their own section so you can see where your clients should fall. You can combine them, separate them, add them together. Please take it, and Adam will be happy to put the link in the Q&A so we can be sure you get to participate. We have just over 150 so far, and it just opened on Saturday. So typically, you know, we don't work a lot on Saturdays, so Mondays and Tuesdays is when we've started getting the information. But none of this would be available without the IBBA and M&A Source. The IBBA and M&A Source are both organizations that are putting this out. But from a member point of view, you get money-saving benefits and education. These 2 organizations, check them out. You might be surprised. And so surprise is what we're going to go through right now, is a few of the things that are going on. 1, if you are new to the industry, the insights for successful ventures into business brokerage, steps to success is there. You don't have to be a member. You can get these webinar recordings and more. You can download some PDFs, and you can start to learn before you even become a member, or if you're thinking about business brokerage. Additionally, every IBBA member gets more than the value of basically benefits. If you are in the industry and you are not using Business Reference Guide, hey, thanks, Ron, or any of these other items, then you should be. It will pay for your membership. Your membership pays for that plus. Likewise, if you are doing the larger deals, M&A Source has a plethora of benefits you should be using. I use these benefits daily on this size of deal. I use the private equity info. I use ITR economics. You know, all of these I've used, and they just bring your level up. And so what are both organizations doing? What do you want to be as a member looking forward to? And if you're not a member, what would you like to see? Well, just announced this month, we've got the Cbi Scholarships. The first two, you must be an IBBA member to apply, but it provides everything you need to get the certified business intermediary. You get everything, including next year's conference pass. If you're not a current member, but do join, you can apply for the Aspiring Business Broker Scholarship. Those are really, really three amazing opportunities. Next, the master's program. This was just announced for those who are CBIs and who are looking to move up to the next level. It's 10 months virtual instructor-led program, and it's modeled after graduate programs. So applications are being sought, and the instructors are amazing. These are top people in our industry. Also, there is a business owner research project that is in the works that's coming out soon. Looking at business owners, and in early 2023, we'll be able to make smarter investments in both how we get the CBI out there, what we do to get our brand out there, and really, really moving us forward. M&A Source, coming soon, is a new website. Don't forget, there's also the CMAP program, which is the Certified M&A Professional Program, and it's all virtual now. It is wonderful. We used to go spend a week there, but being virtual, oh my goodness, you can fit it in your schedule. Also, there's on-demand learning. In 2023, there's a new M&A Foundations, lots of online training. These are all things that are coming up. Your associations are working hard. If you're not going, you should be planning to go to these events. They are the main events coming up. There's one, San Diego, beautiful San Diego, in November. If you're not an M&A Source member and wish to become one, you can get a merge conference and membership deal. In the spring, you can join us in Orlando for two events, both IBBA and M&A Source. And the next October is North Carolina for another deal market and fall conference. I always ask, and I always forget exactly what the price points are. They're right here. But do go to the websites, because these will change. Obviously, everything does sometimes. And this is accurate as of this moment. Like everything else, all disclaimers are there. But this is an amazing association, both of these sister associations, that if you work in the industry, please do join. And now, since I lost the first 3 minutes by not having Zoom, I will turn it back over or answer any questions.
All right, welcome everybody. How you doing? I'm Ron West from Business Brokerage Press and Deal Studio. Thank you very much, Lisa. It's great to be presenting with both Lisa and Len, good friends of mine. And Lisa, great presentation. And please put those dates down, and please go take that Market Pulse report survey. It will do our industry a lot of good, and you should be using it. We'll be talking about some of that stuff in this presentation. Hopefully everybody knows our company, so I won't get into it too much. Business Brokerage Press, we do the business reference guide, education, and our weekly webinars. Deal Studio is really a platform as a business brokerage platform to help you operate your business. So we're going to be talking about that today. It's not going to be really about our specific solution, our technology. Hopefully this will give you a framework to understand how to build your own tech stack. And actually, to your surprise, we're not going to be talking a whole lot about individual tools. I don't think that the tools are really what make up it's more the concept of how you get there. The tools can be variable, and there's a lot of good tools out there, and I'm happy to help people find the right tools to implement But I think you've got to start differently. I think we have a tendency to want to start by finding a cool new tool that says, oh, yeah, that'd be so cool. I love what that does. And I want to implement that, but it's implemented without a strategy. So let's talk about that right now. I want to start off by just telling a story of a thing that happened to me. Everybody's been through this, whether you're buying a new house and you're getting a mortgage or you're looking to refinance. I was doing that last year, and I came up with this concept for this webinar, which was, there's a guy in town who, his name is Chris Hutchins. I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina, and everybody should use Chris if you live near here. Chris is the guy that is known in Wilmington for doing mortgages. He's the one where you pass through the billboard. Everybody's going to recommend him. Everybody's going to say, you got to talk to Chris. And Chris is a little bit of a local celebrity when you're kind of getting into this type of stuff. And so I was like, well, I'm going to call Chris. That's who I know I need to call. And when I called him, Chris answered right away. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that, actually. I thought I'd leave a voicemail. I didn't know when I'd get to talk to Chris, if I ever would. I know he's really busy. He's on all the billboards and everything. So Chris answered, and he just gave me all the time in the world. Now, of course, Chris knew, being a mortgage broker, he knew all the questions I had. He knew the rates. He knew the answers to all of my questions. But he formed a relationship with me very quickly. 20, 30 minutes was all that we spoke for. And it was a very pleasant conversation. I was like, this is great. I'm going to work with Chris on doing my mortgage. And Chris ended saying, hey, call me anytime. I'm available. Let me know how I can help. And but what I'll do is I'll put you in touch with my team, and they'll be working with you. So I thought, that's great. Now I'm thinking, well, I'm going to be working with Chris. Chris is my person. Well, what happened was his people called me. They introduced me to their technology. They walked me through this whole process, this automation, this workflow that just made me actually think a lot more highly of Chris in his practice. And you know what? I never actually thought I needed to talk to Chris again. I actually didn't talk to Chris again because his team and his technology and the talent that they have provided a solution for what I was looking for. Here I was looking for Chris, but Chris was giving me back something that was equivalent to actually having a relationship with him. Now, I am not here to say that business brokers can achieve that level of not working with your clients, but I think the concept frames the conversation for today. The goal of our whole process here, why we want to go into technology and talk about processes and systems and marketing and technology, well, it really has to start with this. What is my goal? What am I trying to achieve? And that's what we're going to talk about a bit today. So before we look forward, I want to just take a quick look back. And really, it's a simple comment that I want to make that, it used to be that you could wear all the hats in business brokerage. And in fact, my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, you didn't have a team of people. You did everything yourself. My father learned business brokerage by being dropped off by my grandfather at a strip mall with some listing agreements and said, go get listings. You then took over and you did everything from there. There wasn't a team approach. You were a bullpen of salespeople, all kind of doing the same thing day in and day out. Well, with the introduction of technology, when the first Business for Sale site came out, when the internet and computers, and we all know this for every industry out there, everything got a lot more complicated. Technology did add a lot of automation and it made things more efficient, but it really did complicate things. And not only that, when you tag that in with buyers are becoming more educated, sellers are becoming more educated, businesses are more valuable, it's not just a one-person job anymore. And I think we're feeling the stress as an industry of wearing all these different hats, saying, gosh, it seems like I should be able to do this. But the reality is everything has gotten more complex. And those days of doing everything yourself are kind of over. You're going to have to build a team, and you're going to have to rely on technology today. So that's just something that is very much needs to be understood. And so the first thing I would ask for you to do as you're thinking about all this is you've got to take inventory of your current team, your technology, your marketing, and your branding. So you're going to have to step back and say, okay, I've got what I've got. Or if you're brand new, then you're going to have to think, okay, yeah, I've got what I've got, and maybe here's some things I'd like to have. But who's on your team? And keep in mind, that doesn't just mean people that, are in your office. That might be, hey, we always use this person for that, or we use this person for that. They're part of your team, right? And what is our current technology that we're using? What are our current ways of marketing? And most important to me is what is your current brand? And are you aware of your brand? And we're going to get into that in a few slides from now. And it seems kind of silly. You go, well, brand, yeah, I've got a logo and we do business brokerage. Well, what we're going to talk about is really important, because the first stage you're going to do is understand more about your brand. And you're going to have to assess where you are now. You're going to have to commit time. If there's a barrier to using technology, to creating a business broker platform, to being a Chris Hutchins and having that level of authority in your market, you're going to have to take time. You're going to have to plan. You're going to have to implement. You're going to have budget. A lot of the times when people complain about things in our industry, I go, you don't want to do that work, or you don't have money to do that. And those are usually the two big barriers. But we're real busy right now. Things are busy in our industry, and everybody's kind of like, I wish I had done this before. I'm going to have to wait till things slow down. But the reality is, are you ever going to get to that point? You're going to have to make time for this, or it will not happen. So be realistic about that. That's one of your resources, is your time. When you're taking inventory, be aware of that. And you're going to have to keep this going. It's not a one-time thing and you're done. You're always going to be evaluating your current team, technology, marketing, and branding. You're always going to have to take time to learn, plan, and implement. It's a cycle, and you have to create a habit of doing that. Here's a quick thing. We all know this. These are the goals of technology. It is going to save you time. It's going to keep you organized. It's going to help you retain and find your data. It's going to develop efficiencies. It's going to automate processes. It's going to add professionalism. That's my big one on the list right there. It's going to add professionalism. That's what Chris was doing with his technology and his team and his talent. They were adding professionalism. They were building authority in their market because of it. It creates inbound marketing and allows you to stay in touch. Okay, so when we're going to this, we want to find out and these are not the only things, so don't hear me say this is all you need, but what are the 7 essential elements of crafting a business broker platform? And you can read those off. We're going to be going through each of these 7. All right, so let's get into branding. As I said, I think this is a key aspect to our business. I think we have to understand branding. Branding is not just our logo and our colors. I'm going to state this up front. I am now going through the process of trying to figure out this for myself. I bet most of you are, and I bet most of the clients that you represent struggle with this. It is going to add value to all of us, and we should all be helping business owners understand this concept. Here's a great quote I found from entrepreneur.com. Simply put, your brand is your promise to your customer. It tells them what they can expect from your product and service, and it differentiates your offering from your competitors. Your brand is derived from who you are, who you want to be, and who people perceive you to be. Think about Chris in that story. He had built this brand, not just because he was on a billboard, but because of all the different things he was doing. And ultimately, he did a really excellent job, and everybody wanted to recommend him. And so it just kept playing into more of his authority that he was building. So we've got to really step back. And if you don't have this, let's break this down just a step further for you and what this means. We are going to be looking at who you are, what's your specialty, your service, what you do, your audience, who you do it for, and your best characteristics, what you're known for. So you've got to answer these questions. And here is a professional branding statement. You can read it there as an example. But it takes these 4 bullet points and it helps you understand what your messaging is. We need to understand not just that we're business brokers or intermediaries, but we also have to understand, what makes us unique to our clients, what separates us, what are our distinctives. We need to really sit with that and understand that before that we start building this out. Why? Because as it relates to technology, look, not every technology stack is going to be the same. People that do 1 deal a year and those that try to do 20 a year are going to need very different systems and automations and technology. So we're kind of backing into this. And again, if you're thinking this is a list of tools that you can just implement, that's not really my objective. My objective is for you to understand your company and to then create tools that will give you the end result that you ultimately are trying to achieve through all of this. So once you've kind of figured out your branding, here's how your brand doorways are going to happen. You've already got these, and here's part of your problem, and it's part of my problem. And I'll tell you a quick little story. I hate to admit this, but I will. On our Deal Studio website, this is where we build website systems and marketing. So, obviously there's a correlation, and we're going to look at Ron's website for Deal Studio and the correlation to what he can do for us. And about a year after Google Plus went out of business, I still had a Google Plus icon up there with the other social media icons. Well, it's an easy thing to miss. But if you're brand new and you knew technology, you say, that's I'm giving me a little bit of pause about Deal Studio. That's because my website is one of my brand doorways. Brand doorways are going to be all the things I'm listing here. Marketing pieces, social media, your email signature. Let's just stop there for 1 second. In my personal opinion, if you have a fax number in your email signature, if you don't, I never fax. I don't think people do. That I'm not saying you shouldn't have it there. It's wrong to have it there, but you should consider things like that and say, does that make me look dated? I'll tell you right now, if you have 4 different phone numbers on your email signature, I just want one. And that should be directed through technology to whatever phone you happen to have at that time and whatever system you have. But that's a brand channel. Your email signature, your in-person experience with your business card, the way you're using QR codes and your virtual backgrounds, whatever it might be, events, websites, referrals, telemarketers, they're representing you, email marketing, Google. Your ranking, your map results, your Google reviews. Are we getting Google reviews? These are all brand doorways. You assume that everybody's going to introduce you, you're going to meet people, whether it be in person or they're going to hit your website. But the reality is you don't know where they're going to be introduced to you. Your advertising. And as Bob was talking about earlier, Biz by Sell directory. Do we understand that not only is that a benefit in the ranking to get to us, but do we understand that that could be a hindrance to our brand? Because it is. We are listed on the broker directory, and whatever you have there is part of your brand doorway. So one thing I'd recommend is close brand doorways that you're not using, like Google Plus, or if you have a Twitter account that has the default Twitter logo and you're not posting to it, get rid of it. So just go through, close out the doors, open only the ones that you're going to keep an eye on, and keep checking on them to make sure they consistently keep representing your brand. I'll tell you another story related. I was looking for an executive suite, because we work it from home, and since 2008 kicked us back to home, and we've stayed there happily. We've been using Zoom way before the pandemic. So I needed a place that would get my mail, answer my phones, etc., a place for a conference room. I was looking for an executive suite, and I was looking around, and I searched online, right? Obviously. I found one that was so cool. It's like in the cargo district. All the little office spaces are made out of like old cargo containers, and it was in the hip part of town. And you just thought, wow, that would be pretty awesome. That is a cool website. That's a cool place. And they called and they said, actually, we can't, we're only renting these as like monthly offices. I was like, okay, too bad. I'll look for something else. Well, there was one. I couldn't find any more. I had found one at the very beginning of my search, but I just hesitated. Their website was really bad. And I just kind of thought, and I know it looks old school. I'm just not interested. So I passed it over. Well, I had to go back to it. It was like the only option. And it turns out they are located at the entrance of the premier neighborhood in Wilmington. It's a gorgeous building with an amazing lobby with professional staff. Now I know that a lot of people in Wilmington use this place, but I did not make the phone call because of my experience on their website. That brand doorway impacted my thinking about them. Keep in mind, your brand is not just, well, I know it's kind of my, where people are going to encounter me for the first time, but keep in mind, business owners are coming to you to market their business for sale. So they're looking at you as marketers of businesses, and your marketing, your technology, all the things that you're using, think of that Chris Hutchins experience, is representing to the business owner. They're going to correlate your marketing, your website, your brand doorways, and how that's going to play out in selling and marketing their business for sale. So there's a huge connection that we need to be aware of. So let's talk just real quickly. Nobody wants to talk about this, but we've also got to be aware that there are branding roadblocks in our industry. And so because these roadblocks of lack of industry awareness, because we're so confidential that if we do our job well, nobody knows we did it. The negative perceptions, I know we don't like to talk about. We all know that there are some people that are more the used car salesmen in our industry, as we refer to them as, and hopefully that'll change. We've got diversity of titles. We're not just, hey, I'm Ron West, I'm a realtor in Wilmington. Oh, great, nice to meet you. I have to explain what I do in a lot more detail than one word. And we also use some confusing terminology, as Lisa had to, obviously give some definition. So we've got some things that are working against us. And we can't change those things, not individually. And so we're going to have to look at our organizational and our personal branding. Keep in mind, in our industry, our brand is like Chris Hutchins. It's a personal brand and a company brand. Actually, Chris switched companies. The brand stayed with Chris. The reputation, the authority, the referrals all stayed with Chris, not through his company. And so we've got the more that our industry has some roadblocks, we're going to have to do a better job in our own branding. So, okay, how do we get started? Let's talk technology. We're going to have to do 3 things as a core. Okay, you could add other things, and this assumes you've done all the steps that we just talked about. The next thing you're going to have to do is create the front door to your business, your website. Okay, it's going to be the front door to your business. That's where first impressions are going to happen. That's the virtual greeting. That's the first impression a business owner has. Typically, that's usually the first brand doorway. That is where they are coming to say, within seconds, do I trust these people? Are they professional? Are they going to be able to handle the biggest transaction of my life? And you have seconds to communicate yourself to them. It is going to be where you communicate with them. It's going to be where lead capture happens, and that's going to feed into your CRM. It's going to be where digital marketing lands people, right? All that SEO, pay-per-click, all that money you're spending to market yourself. Typically, the brand doorway you're getting people to is your website. So it's the home for your digital marketing, and it's where your workflows and automations typically begin. So that's obviously a big part of what you want to be building. But then the second part is going to be on the contact management side, right? So this is going to be the CRM. And so the CRM is going to be where you're going to handle your automations, your deal management. It's going to be where you connect your website for lead capture, your buyer process, your online NDA, your CBR, your data room, your document storage, tracking and signing. And a big one, I didn't do another slide for this, because in our world, the project management tool is actually built into the CRM. And so project management, I'm telling you, it's a key to our industry. I think it's probably one of the missed opportunities on the technology stack that needs to be addressed. And that's because there might be, I don't know, I've talked to some people in the industry, and we could probably come up with 100 to 500 steps that you go through. Len could probably give us a number. How many steps you go through, and Lisa too. How many steps do you go through in a typical transaction? If you're really to break it down, it could be 1 to 500 different steps. And the idea of project management within a CRM or separate would be that we want to list out everything that needs to happen in detail. And we want to know who's going to do it, when it gets done. And so that every client that we encounter has the same experience with our company as everybody else. And so we handle everybody. And we can actually say we've got a 300-point system, and we're going to make sure every one of those things happens. Because in my business, if we forget to check off one box on a website, Google cannot index your website. In the same way, in business brokerage, if you forget to do certain things, that can kill a deal. Maybe you didn't talk to the spouse if they're actually on board with a sale, right? So there's things that need to happen that are easy to forget about. Project management is one of the big things in a CRM that I think is the next level of what we're doing here. Then we get to prospecting. Prospecting hasn't changed a whole lot in our industry. So once you've built your core, you obviously, the next you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get people into your CRM. You're going to want to get all these leads. You need people to sell their business, and you need inventory of listings. So obviously we've got the things that everybody knows of direct mail, cold canvassing, trade publications, cold calling, cold emailing, webinars, education, influencer. That's all the authority marketing. And obviously we've got new things like inbound marketing, which is going to be your SEO, pay-per-click, social media, blogging, white papers, etc. But I skipped one on purpose, and I think y'all, if you ask anybody in business brokerage, how do you get your list? Oh, it's all referrals. It's referrals. I don't disagree. I think referrals are number one. But how do we actually market and prospect to our referral sources? How are we communicating? What are we doing? As Chris so eloquently did for me, I mean, I recommend Chris all the time. So how do we get those referrals? Well, I would say, and this is a non-technical answer, although I do think technology is a part of the equation, we've got to do an excellent job. If you do an excellent job in selling a business, I mean, if you follow your project management, if you do all the right things, if you're professional and honest and take care of your client and do what's best for your client and do that excellent job, how many people are you encountering during that transaction can then refer you more business? It's a lot. It's a couple handfuls, right? And so you're meeting people in every transaction that can refer you business. You're not just the seller and the buyer. There's a whole team on both sides. And if you do a great job, you're going to be building that. Now, to do a great job, it's going to be to have technology and systems. And that systems and technology are going to be the things, the tools that can create that professionalism for you. And go back to that earlier story. But, you know, that's a key thing. You can't really do a whole lot if you don't do a great job, in my opinion. So here's just a quick little thing on authority marketing. Authority marketing from entrepreneur. What makes you so special? Why should anyone purchase your product or service or listen to your opinion over someone else in the same field? The best answer to that question is that you have established yourself as an authority and gone to great lengths to ensure that this is known to every one of your potential clients. You have figuratively and sometimes literally written the book on your field. That is the power of authority marketing. We're going to be able to do this. I'm going to give a little shout out to the Markables or the Inside Report from Cbi Scholarships. You're going to take education from the industry and make it accessible to the business owners, to your referral network, to the community of business that is close to you. You're going to be able to do that through networking, webinars, speaking, blogging. There's all white papers, writing a book, as I mentioned. Those are the things that build authority. Okay, so you've got to get educated, going through IBBA. You've got to get the education, find the tools, and relay that information. We saw a big example of this during COVID, right? We had all this government relief stuff going on, and we had an opportunity to help business owners at their most critical time in their business. And we're going to be dealing with that for a while on their financials. And so we still have that opportunity. A lot of us were unprepared, but the thing is, going forward, we can become more and more of this. We are a critical component to the business owner, and we should be utilizing the tools and education available to us to really educate and help the business owner. If we do our job right, if we really truly have our client's best interest at heart, that will happen. So you can see that technology is really just boosting up all the things that we need to do as professionals. Let's just wrap up with a few slides real quick. It's then going to come into, I need to build lead capture tools so that I'm going to be able to capture name and email on the website. I'm going to be able to do that through lead magnets. Here are some examples of those lead magnets that you can be utilizing in your practice. So if you haven't built, this was actually a thing that we found years ago. We said we're building like brochure websites. We're not even, we're not even really focused on lead capture. So what you're spending all this money to get people to your website, but you're not actually converting them. So I had this. Well, we've got to do lead capture. Prospecting the website to lead capture. Well, if we're going to do lead capture, we've got to get them into a CRM and do lead nurturing and follow up, and then automations, and then project management. That's kind of how the story went for us. So now the rest of the slides are really, the next 3 slides are really about what's happening within the CRM. And if I had to drill it down into 3 components, nobody loves the idea of a CRM. It's kind of like this necessary evil to a lot of people until they realize that it can actually create a lot of efficiencies and automation. So let's break it down into 3 categories. It's going to be where all the leads come in and where you do your lead nurturing. Okay, so when those seller prospects come in through those different digital marketing and inbound and outbound marketing tactics, they're going to hit your website typically as your brand doorway, and they are going to come through your lead capture tools, and in your CRM, you're going to be able to do lead nurturing with them. So next, you're going to be able to do, see if the slide will roll. There it goes. You're going to be able to do buyer automation. Perfect time being on Biz by Sell Broker Summit here is that, you can capture a lot of tools out there to capture the buyers from the business for sale sites and to automatically respond by creating a contact and a deal and sending them an email to get them to an NDA, etc. So you're walking them through this process of getting to the NDA, doing the email automations, the follow-ups, and then following, sending out the CPR, going through the due diligence all the way to the closing with your buyers in the system. And then finally, you're going to be able to do deal management, which is going to be your pipelines, your automations, your e-signatures, your data room, your contact, company, engagement, relationship, meaning that you should be able to, in your CRM, be able to look at a buyer, see all the listings they're at and what stage of the process they are with each of those engagements. You should also be able to go to an engagement and see all the buyers that are looking and what stage they're at. And so the buyer, the listing, the deals, the opportunities, the companies are all interconnected. And then finally, you're going to have good reporting, hopefully, as well. Kind of finally here, wrapping up, trying to stay on time for you, is that you're going to have a tool set. Again, I'll just state this. I think the beginning of my presentation is more important than the end of my presentation. I think the honesty you need to have in approaching building a system and understanding your current resources, team and talent and technology and committing the time and resources necessary to building a platform is not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to just chip away at it, one thing after the next, till you finally arrive at a Chris Hutchins authority marketing where you've built a platform that really works for you. It is going to take time. It's going to take money. It's going to take a commitment to being purposeful with it. But it will finally achieve what you're looking to do with enough effort. But you've really got to set that aside. Those that have administrative help implement platforms a lot more efficiently. And here are just a list of some tools that I think everybody needs to have. If you want specific tools, because there's a lot of good tools in each of these categories, I'd be happy to talk to you and have that conversation. But that is the presentation for today. I'll leave you with just a final contact slide. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any further questions, comments, you want to just have some fun with talking about technology. If we can help you in any way, I'd love to. I really appreciate the time today to be able to talk to you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will stop my presentation, hand this off to Len.
All right, everybody. Hey, Ron, you wore me out. I don't know if I've ever done all those things. Let me get rid of some of this stuff on my screen here. Well, I'm Len Crick, and I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of you out there and training and meeting you with the IBBA. It's been great. Of course, I'm retired now and I only do coaching. I refer everything else to my office here in Las Vegas. So Bob House and I once did, or a couple times we did a workshop on this subject. And so we thought that maybe we would update it and maybe the useful things that I can tell you about writing an effective internet advertisement. Okay, let's just talk about internet advertising in general. Unlike real estate, and I'm just preaching to the choir here, I realize that, but there are a lot of new people on the virtual Growth Summit today, so I just thought I'd start with some basics. There's really no true MLS for businesses. Florida has probably the closest thing to an MLS, it's a proprietary system. Why don't we have one? Well, difficulty preserving confidentiality in business sales is a big factor. We can't plant a sign in the yard, and a lot of people who convert from real estate to business brokerage just can't get that. They just don't understand, how can you sell something when you can't tell anybody it's for sale? And varying business broker competency levels. I run into people who, if you start talking about recasting, it's like, headlights in the eyes of the deer. It's just like, what are you talking about? They just don't get it. Internet advertising is currently the primary method to generate business prospects for Main Street business listing. That's the truth. I mean, you have a lot of different things, a lot of different ways you can find buyers, direct solicitation, and so forth. But internet advertising is the primary method. At least 80% of the buyer prospects are generated from the internet for Main Street businesses. So that's why it's important. Whether you like it or not, it is a very, very important tool. So let's look at some good ads versus some bad ads. And this was with a lot of help from the staff at Biz Buy Sell. So here's a checklist for businesses for sale ads of what to do. And again, you're going to get a copy of this, so you don't have to take notes or anything or memorize it. Catchy titles. Use keyword words that buyers would use in a search, and phrases that motivate to learn more, right? Hooks, whatever you want to call them, things that would want you to look, search further, click it to open it. Great descriptions. Give them a reason to reach out to you. Remember, too much or too little will result in fewer responses. Always, I call it all meat and no potatoes. That's, just give them really good stuff, concentrated, and they'll like it. They'll inquire. Always use photographs. Pixels.com is great for stock photos. If you haven't been there, go check out pixels.com. Maximize visibility. For example, industry, try to choose 2 categories if appropriate. And location, right? Less confidential equals more visibility, right? So the least confidential, you have to preserve, the more visibility you're going to get. And obviously, it's a fine line you have to kind of walk in. Obviously, anything you do, you need to pass it by your client because it's their business, your client, before you do it. Include all the key financials. Try not to leave any of them out. Indicate that seller financing is available if it is. Okay, I forget what the percentage is, but it's a lot more responses if you have seller financing, over 20% more, I think. Consider upgrades for competitive markets, high value listings that need to sell quickly. I'm sure you've already had that. If you do these things, you're going to reach more buyers, get more leads, sell more businesses, and obviously make more transaction fees. Photos make your listings stand out. That's a fact. A lot of people don't use listings, but they should. It differentiates you from the ones business brokers who are not on this call and don't have a clue. Use 400 by 640 pixel landscape images. No logo, no URLs, contact information for overlaid text and graphics. Don't do that. Avoid blurry or distorted images. I've actually done that before. I had to get something on there and I just took the best photograph I could and I replaced it pretty quickly because I realized it's pretty terrible. And by the way, just speaking about photographs, a lot of times your client is the best place to get a photograph. Why? They have had a professional, they've had a professional advertising agency come out and take some awesome photographs. And unless you ask them for them, they won't tell you. And they're the ones with the nice lighting and beautiful lenses and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes you can get some great things from your client. Obviously, if you have to preserve confidentiality, make sure it doesn't have something that will give away their location or the name of their business. Use stock photographs when confidentiality, when the sale's real confidential, but don't put any watermarks or copyright violations on those stock ones. In other words, if you go to pixels.com, that's fine. But if you go to other places where you can get photographs, pay the $1.50 or whatever they're going to charge you for the photograph to get rid of the watermarks or the copyright stuff. Okay. So here's an example of a good ad. Okay. It's got all the asking price and cash flow and so forth. Notice it says cash flow, right? It doesn't say EBITDA, right? EBITDA is down here. They didn't put that in this one, but okay. And a nice business description. It's just a good looking ad. We blurred out the name of the seller on this. Okay, but that's a good ad. The photograph catches your eyes and so forth. Here's a plumbing contractor fuel delivery in Eastern Long Island. Okay, this is another good ad that we like. Okay, now look who it is, Angelo Ferrara, our buddy. Okay, and that's a heck of a nice ad. Look at it. I know we're not going to read through it, but it's catchy. It catches your eyes. It makes you want to inquire further. Okay, and notice this. There's a continuation of the business description. Notice it says SBA funding, long-established profitable business with supply store. Let's go back to the one before that. Highly profitable business with loyal customers and employees. That's the title. Okay, auto repair and towing company, real estate included. All right. So look at what he's done here. See, it's nice and easy with bullet points and sections that are separated. It's nice and easy to read. Here are some things not to do. Here's a checklist for businesses for sale ads. Okay. Don't make sure that you put in the gross revenue, cash flow, and other key financials. So what not to do is leave those out. Don't write in all caps. It's like screaming, right? Plus, it looks very unprofessional. Instead, be more informational and less sales pitchy. What's that mean? Don't use a lot of flowery adjectives. Okay, I always say all meat and no potatoes. Okay, try to. What if you were thinking of buying a business? What would you want to know about it? Put that in there. Don't make any spelling or grammatical errors. Okay, so how do you avoid that? The easy way to do that is to compose the ad using Microsoft Word, for example, right? And we'll talk about that later. But that won't catch all grammatical or spelling errors. For example, FORM and FROM, form and from, it's not going to catch that kind of mistake. I don't think. Okay. Not using a second business category when it's relevant. So if the thing has two business categories, use it so that the search will come up under two different ones. Don't use bland or vague listing headlines, right? There are a lot of things that I'm going to show you some bad ones that do that. Don't use a blurry photo, no photo at all. Wrong business type. For example, don't advertise a franchise opportunity. I don't mean an ongoing, concern, but a new franchise opportunity as an established business. Don't try to fake this out and put some sort of, franchise disclosure document, averages for sales and so forth in there. No, it's not a going concern. There are lots of franchise opportunity websites that you can use for that. And that's where people looking for franchises go anyway. They don't go to Biz by Sell, which is going concerns. Well, if you do these things, you're going to reach less buyers. You're going to get less leads. You're going to sell less businesses, and you can make less money. So here's an example of a bad ad that they just pulled out off the site. Okay, you can see where they don't even put much description on here. They don't put any numbers here. Just the asking price, and that's it. It doesn't tell you anything. How would you know whether? First of all, it's not going to come up much on the search because people do search not only by asking price, but they also search a lot by cash flow, don't they? Et cetera, right? All right. Wine and beer store. That's it. Okay. No photo. No any. Well, you got gross and EBITDA. I like that. Gross revenue, EBITDA 150. That's it. Okay. No business. Oh, it's near the beach. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is pretty pathetic. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I always do is after I get my ad composed and everything and approved by my client, as soon as we post it, I always send them a hot link, right? A link to their ad and have them look at it. Well, if I sent my clients an ad that looked like this, I'd be embarrassed. In fact, I would get a call immediately asking me, how do they get out of the listing agreement? Here's another bad one. Pizza, Plymouth County, Massachusetts. Asking price, $159. All right. Okay. So this is a pretty nasty ad. Pizza store, very good town, whatever. It's like pretty dumb. All right. We won't tell you who did that. We blurred it out. All right. But don't be this person, this broker. So let's get down to the meat of this. How do we write an effective ad? All right. Persuasive advertising. So this is a process that I found to be the most efficient method of drafting an effective internet advertisement. Now, it might take a little more brain power, sorry about that, but it usually yields a high return on the time and money that you invest in these ads. From 2000 to 2021, our office sold 88% of our listings. One of the keys to doing that was we wrote great internet advertising, and we got a lot of buyer responses. I think the average was something like 18 per ad. Okay. Here's a 7-step process I use in writing an effective ad, and I suggest you do this if you're not, or have your whoever's going to write the ads use this. First, write the presentation of the business first. You know, the CBR, you don't dare put the bait into the water if you have no way to haul it in. Okay, so if you never put the ad, post the ad on the internet until you have something more than what they can get in a generic internet ad. Once you've vetted the buyer, you need to have that presentation to be able to give them that presentation, right? So you write the presentation first. By the time you get finished, that presentation, if you did it right, you are so full of information about that business that writing a good ad is not going to be a problem at all. So write the ad, write the presentation first. Then you're going to write the internet ad. Make a list of the highlights or attributes of the business. What makes this business attractive or sets it apart from other similar businesses? That is, what differentiates it from the other things? Because there are a lot of businesses on Biz Buy Sell, a lot of things for buyers to choose from, right? So make a list of the highlights or attributes of the business. Frankly, in the CBR template that I use, the very first page has all the highlights and attributes of the business. So I've already figured all that out. It's pretty easy for me to take that and then write an ad. Then you write an effective headline. Okay, that's a thing that people search by. We're going to talk about this. Draft the internet ad copy. Again, use Microsoft Word so you can use spell check and word count. Try to limit the description to 1,500 characters and spaces or less. Okay, people aren't going to read more than that anyway. After you think you've got it just right, let it sit overnight. Come back, review, and edit it. Might not be as good as you thought it was. You might think of some things when you're not in the woods and you can see what the trees look like. Okay, then send it to your client for approval before you roll it out. Remember, for a short, mutually beneficial time, you're going to be a Siamese twin to your client. What's good for them, it's good for you. What's good for you is good for them. You walk in lockstep. No secrets between you. They have a job to do. You have a job to do, right? Part of what they need to do is take a look at your work product, whether it's a CBR, evaluation, or the internet ad, and approve it, right? You want them, because they're your Siamese twin, you want them to be on board with everything you say in there. You might say something in the internet ad, if you don't get their approval, which would give away who they are, by mistake, of course, okay? So what drives a business value? Let's go back to some basic valuation stuff, okay? Because the same things that drive the value of a business are the things that will attract a buyer to the business that you're trying to sell. You need to tell the buyer prospect about these things in your ad, okay? For example, quantitative factors. How old is this business? How long is this guy in business to sell it, right? What percentage do they want that? 100%, that's all cash. Will vary and all that. Qualitative factors, and this is just a short list. Amount of competition, industry trends, location and facilities, marketability, right? Historical profit trend, ease of replication, amount of risk. Gee, have you seen those qualitative factors before? I think you have. Where? The Business Reference Guide, right? All those things are things that Tom, Ron Westfather, and I worked out in the year 2000. These are the qualitative factors that we use as value drivers. There are more than that, but that's the big standard list. Okay, you need to talk about many of these things that differentiate your business when you write these things, the ad. So first, you need to write a great title. Okay, what will attract a buyer? How do internet business search functions work anyway? How do buyer prospects find businesses that meet their acquisition criteria? Well, keywords, that's the answer, right? That's how they search. What are some of those? The type of business, location, how old it is. A lot of people are looking for something with 3 to 5 years of proven cash flow, right? Profitability. Maybe they're looking for a franchise or a home-based business. I don't mean Mary Kay Cosmetics. And I can tell you, I have made a fortune. I bought a couple of Porsches on home-based business commissions. Okay, so don't look down your nose at home-based business, especially right now, they're pretty hot. And portability, what's that mean? Are they relocatable? There are a lot of people, if I've sold many businesses that it didn't matter where they were internet-based anyway, and some were portable home-based businesses. That's even better, right? Think about it. And what about franchises? Well, a quality franchise, regional or national franchise with 3 to 5 years of proven cash flow, okay, that's verifiable, has such a low failure rate 5 years after the buyer buys the business that it's less risk. The less risk you have, the higher the multiple, the bigger the price you can get for the business. So we consider quality franchises a premium listing in our office, and I think we've sold 100% of everyone we've ever taken, and we got SBA financing a lot of. Of course, they had to be A, B, and C. They can't be on the list. They got to be. And if you don't know what I mean, go to your SBA lender and ask how the franchises rank. All right, drafting an effective ad. Here's the process that I use. Organize the highlights and attributes. Remember what we said? Put them in a logical order. Tell what the business does and how old it is first. Okay, don't repeat information in the text that's already in the box. Like here's a box down here, asking price $3.5 million, cash flow $655,000, etc. You don't need to repeat all that stuff in your ad text unless you want to put emphasis on it. All right. By the way, something that's not on here that is well, I think we're going to hit one. I'll just save it for the next chapter. All right. Consider the level of confidentiality that's required. Super, super, super important when you write these things. You have to think, okay, the highest is I have to preserve confidentiality no matter what. I can't even put the location, okay, or anything about the business that's really that I'd like to put in. I got to preserve confidentiality. I don't want the intangible assets, especially the trained employees in place, the customers, and the vendors to asset value to be destroyed by breaching confidentiality. Okay, next level down. You can't reveal the location. Okay, how about you can mention the franchise name. Now be careful. There are some franchises that are very sensitive about whether or not you should put their name in an ad. So you should check with the franchise area development guy or whoever you liaise with permission of your client. Or the lowest confidentiality. You can include the name of the business and its website address. Okay, I would consider that pretty low amount of confidentiality. They direct them right to the website, right? All right, so you do have to think about confidentiality for sure. So now, are you ready? So let's go fishing. That's what I think about it. I always think of myself going fishing when I write these ads. What can I catch with it? Okay, got to build the right kind of bait. So here's some examples of effective ads. Okay, so these are actual internet advertisements were very effective. These advertisements generated at least 20 buyer inquiries for each business, and I sold them all. These are my listings. I sold them all, and some, I think 3 out of 4 or whatever, for more than asking price. So in other words, I got enough competition that I could drive the price up. Or did I undervalue it? I always ask myself that. For each advertisement, we will look at 2 things, the highlights and attributes, and then the client-approved draft of the ad copy. Okay, so let's go. First one is the typical Main Street business and kind of a normal level of confidentiality. Okay, which doesn't mean extreme and it doesn't mean none. So the hook, what is it? These are my notes before I started writing this ad. Don't just sit down and write the ad. You need to think of the things you want to include into it. These are the things: types of customers, sales mix, sales trends, source of business, profitability. Oh boy, the hook was very profitable. When I say very profitable, see that adjective very? This was 60% to the bottom line. I call that very profitable. Okay, so when the person is looking up things and they say, yeah, very profitable, and you look at this ad, they go 60% of the bottom line. This guy wasn't kidding, right? All right, management and staffing, equipment highlights, right? In this business was important because my client told me it was. Leased space, how to build this business, and the seller will provide. Now, the chances are we were going to sell this kind of business, which is a what? a window washing and pressure washing business in Las Vegas. Okay, to somebody who's in that business or knows something about it, maybe expanding through acquisition into Las Vegas. So that's why we have this North Star and Atlantis thing in there, because those are evidently, according to my client, the Rolls Royces of that equipment. Anybody who has that equipment must be a real serious company, says my client. Here's the ad, right? And I sold this for $100,000, I think more than asking price. And we got an SBA loan for the buyer, a 7A loan. Okay, so here, let's go through this. The headline is very profitable window washing and pressure cleaning company where? In Las Vegas. So the headline is, those are all keywords that people use to search and find this business among the, I don't know how many businesses they have on business myself, but a lot. Okay, thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands. Okay, this 10-year-old, now watch the way these sentences work. This 10-year-old company has numerous long-term residential and commercial customers. And what did I do there? How old it is and the types of customers it has. Approximately 47% of sales is from hot and cold power washing and 53% from interior, exterior window cleaning services. Sales have increased steadily and experienced double-digit growth through the recession. So that we had just come off a 24% unemployment recession here. Really, it was a depression. And so the sales were still increasing, which is, we used to say flat is the new up in Las Vegas. Okay, 2013's annual sales increased 18.6% over 2012. That's like totally amazing in that time period here. Other than repeat customers and referral, most business growth comes from the business's website. So what did I say there? It's the marketing part. Other than repeat customers and referrals, other than that, most of the business comes from the website. And guess what is included with the assets of this business? The business's URL, right? Okay, due to low overhead and streamlined systems, this company brings 60% to the bottom line, far more than the average window pressure cleaning company, which, by the way, is 14.5%. So you say, well, wait a minute, how did you bring 60%? I just told you, due to low overhead and streamlined systems. Okay, seller only works about 12 hours. Let's see. Okay, for example, they had a really, really beautifully low commercial lease that would inure, I think it had a lot of time left on it, would inure to the new owner. Okay, the seller only works 10 to 12 hours per week and has a full staff in place. Yep. This guy had 2 other businesses and he was trying to be an entertainer. He was taking voice lessons and music lessons and all that stuff. So he only worked 10 to 12 hours in this business. Just think what you can do, Mr. Buyer, if you work 100% of the time in this business. All equipment is included, including 2 trucks, 2 trailers, North Star power washer, Atlantis power washer. The business operates from an office warehouse and there's plenty of room to expand. Scaling this business up is just a matter of adding additional equipment and more staff. Okay, what does that mean? That means he can't accommodate all the demand that he wants. It'd be easy if you just add more equipment and staff. You've got all the business you can handle and there's space in the warehouse. Okay, I said all that in 2 sentences. The seller will provide 4 weeks of training or early turnover and will agree not to compete for a period of 5 years after the close of escrow and so forth. Okay, now what I didn't put in here, because at the time I wrote this, it wasn't approved for an SBA loan yet, but as soon as this was approved for an SBA loan, I added, this business has been pre-qualified for an SBA loan from Wells Fargo Bank. I just put that in there because it was. And that's actually provided the funding. This guy didn't have to carry anything. It provided the funding for the buyer. All right, so that's ad number 1. Okay, now let's look at a technical Main Street business. This is a little different market because the people who are going to buy this business, they got to be technical or they wouldn't be able to do this. This is Advanced Computer Technology is the name of the company. So I put the basic things here and then customers, major revenue sources, right? What it does, certifications, which is I put in because that's really important to the people who are looking at buying this. Staffing and facilities make them want to, actually it's very hard to get some of these, or was back then. Staffing and facilities, performance, and what the seller will provide. All right, so here's what this one said. This is the ad copy that was approved. Notice this is what I submitted to my client. Proposed internet ad copy, advanced computer technology, which is his company, total characters and spaces. When I submitted it, okay, I want them to sign off on this. Remember, we're Siamese twins. All right, the headline was IT consulting firm, very profitable, established in Las Vegas. Now, the word established, for example, is a key search word. People are looking for established businesses, not new businesses, not something less than 2 years. This 13-year-old comprehensive information technology IT consulting firm and value-added reseller. Now, if you don't know what a value-added reseller is, this business is probably not for you, okay? You kind of have to be in this business, right? For small to mid-sized businesses in what? In the construction, property management, legal, and medical fields. All right, let's stop here. At the end of the day, the buyer of this, we had 4 buyers killing each other to buy this, okay, was actually from Las Vegas. All 3 of the other ones were from out of town that wanted to, get established in Las Vegas by, growing through acquisition. They ended up not getting it, but I can tell you that the reason that the company here, which was just a little bit bigger than this, bought this is because they were not in the construction, property management, and legal and medical. They were in other types of fields. So this is the perfect piece of the puzzle they didn't have. The company's major revenue sources are from services and hardware. Services are offered in 4 optional levels, which allow clients to control their budget, right? It also provides computers, servers, workstations, and storage to customers and builds customer systems to meet each client's needs. New paragraph, right? The company has a completely equipped computer lab and 5 full-time employees. This company is an ASUS notebook authorized service provider, an authorized vendor for OpenE data storage software, whatever that is, Supermicro Kaspersky, and vMalware, and offers 80 plus certified PCs. This company is a Microsoft Gold certified partner. Why did I put all that crap in there? This is right because that is mother's milk for the type of buyers who are going to buy, who are looking at grow their through acquisition. How do I know that? Because I talked to all the buyers and they told me that's why we're interested in this business, because it's established and it has all this stuff in a complete lab. It's completely self-contained. This is awesome. The company has many, they told me that after they bought it, right? The company has many ongoing service contracts and signing another large one soon. 2013 sales are projected to be 744,000, a 15% increase over 2012 due to very low overhead. For example, the rent is only $1,000 a month. That's for that whole lab. Clients don't come to them. They have a technical lab. They bring stuff back there, or they build it there and take it to their customer's place. It's not a retail or anything. The business generated over 31% to the bottom line in 2013. That's verifiable, okay? It's not pie in the sky. Okay, the seller will provide 80 hours of training and orderly turnover during the first 4 weeks after close of escrow. He would be available on a consulting basis at the buyer's option for an additional fee. The seller will sign a 5-year non-compete. Okay, at the end of the day, you know this thing where it says it's signing another large contract soon. At the end of the day, they had bid along with 4 other companies on providing annual 5-year contract to provide IT support for the Regional Transportation Authority, RTA here, all the buses and all that. It was a huge, got bigger than their total sales, okay, are right now. And they were just hoping to get it. But the guy wanted to build, the reason he was selling is he and his father and brother wanted to build a group hub, which I told him not to do. I don't think they did very well, but hey, you can't convince somebody who wants to do something with their family. And he needed the money from this to do the group hub. That's why it would be available on a consulting basis, because that's not a full-time job building a group hub. Well, anyway, he wanted to sell because I kept saying, listen, why don't we wait to see if you get the contract with the RTA before we, then we'll do a new valuation and sell it for more, because you've got that 5-year contract in your pocket then, right, in the pipeline. No, I want to build the group hub. I go, okay, let's do this. Let's do a price on historical performance, right? And then what we'll do is an add-on for the profit in the future if you get this contract. And obviously, and anyway, at the end of the day, there was a $500,000 or something like that bonus if they got the contract, but that was not paid at closing. And 3.5 months later, after the close of escrow, guess what? The new buyers got the RTA contract. And guess what? My client got another 500 grand. Guess what? I got my commission on that, right? But it was one of those things where it had to be contingent on something happening. All right, how about a Main Street business where confidentiality is not even required? Not at all. This is Pump It Up in Las Vegas. Okay, this is a national children's party place. Heck of an operation, really serious operation, and a franchise. So they didn't care if their employees or anybody knew that they were selling, because they had all college kids from University of Nevada, Las Vegas working there, and they didn't stay long anyway. They stayed for a year or two, and then they paid for tuition and out, and then next, please. So they didn't care. It's not the kind of business where where confidentiality had to be maintained. Okay, these are major attributes, type of buyer I should be looking for, that I thought to myself, type of operation, that is, what kind of buyer would buy this type of operation, marketing that they did or didn't do. Actually, they didn't. Okay, lease, financial performance, okay, management and staff, and price and terms. All right, so let's take a little look at this thing. Now, this one I sold for $175,000, more than asking price, because I had 4 big-time executives here in town here, 1 casino guy, 1 head of a law firm, 1 head of an accounting firm, and the big car dealer. All of them, they wanted it and have their wife run the thing. Okay, keep her from using the plastic all day long. All right, so they had personally been here with their kids many times. And these are pretty expensive parties they put on. And this place did 2,200 parties a year in that place. So, and you know how it works in it, and maybe you don't, but I can tell you, the way this works in these party places is you're invited to a party because one of your child's friends, is invited because your child's friend has a birthday. You go there, then of course your kid has to have a birthday party there. And these people all these buyers had spent a lot of money in a place, and it was obviously they're going, hey, I'd like to own that place. I know how much everything costs. So here's the headline: Pump It Up, Las Vegas. Remember, no confidentiality required. One of the top in the nation, which is true. In fact, in the thing we talk about it, the ranking and all that. If you love to see kids having fun and like to make a lot of money, this is for you. This 14-year-old top-ranked national franchise is one of only 2 true children party venues in Las Vegas, with we have 2 million. We have 2.4 million now, but 2 million people in population. That's not very many party places, for that big a population. With very little marketing. In fact, they did hardly anything. This high volume, they couldn't because they were maxed out. This high volume, 11,330 square foot unit generated $785,000 in annual sales on the books. And luckily, one of the sellers, by the way, was CPA. You should have seen their books were fantastic. Made it right through due diligence, no problem at all. Okay, generated $785 in annual sales and a net profit of 23%, thus outperforming most of the similar operations in the nation. True statement. Why do I say that? In the CBR, I had performance of all the other top 10, and we were way above them. During the first 8 months of 2014, sales increased 4% over the same period in 2013. This business is poised to grow even larger by initiating proactive marketing. Okay, you'd have to increase the space a little bit. And they had the equipment, but as backups, they keep in the back in case something gets punctured or the kids hurt it somehow. But they need more space if they're really going to do more. They were maxed out in terms of performance. This business is easy to run, has no accounts receivable, and very little inventory. Now, why did I put that? Those are 3 things that a lot of buyers look for. Something that's easy. It's not a complicated business. I don't want to tie a bunch of money up in accounts receivable, working capital, and there's hardly any inventory, just a little bit for the parties, right? The Monthly rent and CAM are only 67 cents per square foot per month. Go figure, huh? All equipment is well maintained and is included in this turnkey operation. The financials are very detailed and verifiable. I'll say, the lady was a CPA. She was great. That sure helped. The owner believes that the well-trained management team and staff will stay. The working owner can easily replace the current owner after attending franchise training in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's where the headquarters is. So I'm telling them there's a lot of things here. You can replace the owner, but you got to go to franchise training. It's compulsory. An 80% SBA 7A loan may be available for a qualified buyer. Why do I say may? Because it is available on this business. It's pre-qualified. The question is, are you qualified for the loan? So it may be available, right? At a price of $575,000, the seller will carry a note for 50% on a case-by-case basis at the seller's sole option. Okay, what did I say there? They'll carry a note, half down, half carry, on a case-by-case basis at the seller's sole option. In your listing agreement, you should have those words. And this is your mark, so you can say them on a case-by-case. You're not going to offer it to everybody. It's on a case-by-case basis. And who makes the decision? The seller. Interested in learning more? Visit pumpitupparty.com, Las Vegas, Nevada. Right? That's it. This is one of the only ads I've ever actually put a URL in there. Okay, because most of them want to preserve confidentiality. For a description of the party options and basic services, for a complete presentation, including valuation and all that. All right. So
And Len, I'm going to jump on and give you the 2-minute warning.
Oh, okay.
Hurry up, offense.
All right. All right. So we'll do that. Thanks. All right. So this is the last one, and we'll see if you can guess what it is. Okay. Here are the attributes. You see if you can figure out what this business. This is one you can't even say what the business does or what service. Okay. Here's the ad. Short and sweet. Sold this for more than asking price. Very profitable, established home-based business in Las Vegas. No selling required. That's a big one. Love to shop, like people, hate to sell, enjoy helping elderly and disabled people, don't want any employees or lease. Do you avoid risk? Want to work part-time and set your own schedule? Do you like to have fun? Then this turnkey 15-year-old home-based business is for you. It has generated a consistent $60,000 income during the past 2 years and can be grown. The customers are easy to work with, require very little paperwork, and pay quickly. This part-time business would provide a great second income for a couple, particularly if they're able to store the inventory in their house. During the past 3 years, the profit was 42% of sales. At $146,000, that's the asking price, including $25,000 in inventory. This business would generate more than 40% annual return on investment. That's total investment. The seller would accept terms for the right buyer on a case-by-case basis. Owner is ready to retire. Actually, we're halfway retired. And then what to do? I like this. When you read that, you go, I like this. What is it? Okay. Well, you got to make an inquiry to find out what it is. Okay. And you guys, why don't you go in the chat line and tell me what you think this business does? And if you want, later on, I'll tell you exactly what it did. It was pretty unusual business. All right. I've got a coaching program. If you don't know, if you or somebody else is getting traction or is new to the business, I have a fantastic coaching program, 14 one-hour coaching sessions using GoToWebinar. You get all kinds of stuff, templates and checklists and things that I've developed over a long period of time, and 60, 90-minute PowerPoint PDFs of my webinars and everything. And it's a flat $5,000. Okay. So trust me, I've trained 39 people so far, and you cannot go wrong. See you at the closing table, and here's how to get a hold of me. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see.
Thanks, Len.
Thanks, Len.
Jeff Snell is guessing that the business is a medical clothing company.
No. Let's see. I'm trying to get out of this thing. It's just a second. I'm trying to share the screen. Oh, good. It has stopped as a shared screen. Okay, good. What is it? It is there are people that elderly people who are in convalescent homes all over Southern Nevada, where their care is paid for by the state of Nevada, and they get a stipend. And they can't really spend a stipend without somebody going shopping for them. Most of them don't have relatives that can come see them. This is a shopping service for these people. You deal with the state, it's under contract, you get paid right away. And basically you're a professional shopper, and you can, wherever you can buy the stuff, you can mark it up to retail. And these people, so it's for somebody, and you don't really deal unless you have to measure them for clothing or something, but anyway, it's somebody who fulfills the order. And the reason it's so confidential is because it's actually pretty easy to replicate and and enter the business. So
great. Thanks, Len. Appreciate, that was amazing content. And I'm Doug Whitmire. I run sales for BizBuySell, based here in San Francisco. And what a privilege it's been for us to hear from such great industry experts and such great presenters. And Len's content in particular was very much in the details, but boy, everything that he's describing is elemental to having a successful listing on the BizBuySell platform. Thanks to Lisa for the great macroeconomic overview. I encourage everybody to take the Market Pulse report. It's only going to help us get better statistics and better reporting moving forward. And thanks to Ron West for the overview on technology. And business brokers need to understand that technology is really essential to your success. And I really like the way that Ron tied it all together and helped us organize it and made it simple. So many of you are asking, when are we going to announce the prizes? And the answer is we're going to do that very shortly. And I believe Ria has dropped the survey link. So like any great prize giveaway, you must be present to win. So we're very close to that point. So those of you that are still with us, the way that we're going to determine and confirm that you are actually with us is by taking a short survey. I promise you it's not going to be a grueling exam. And then based on those, we're going to draw the winners. And reminder again that the prizes are a $2,500 Hilton Vacation gift card. I could use that myself. We're giving away 2 iPad Pros. We're giving away 3 pairs of the fantastic Apple AirPods and more. So stay tuned. I'm just going to spend, before we get to the prizes, I'm going to spend just a few minutes kind of tying this all together on the BizBuySell platform. Watching the Q&A, I've seen many people who are asking about actually creating accounts with us, and that's fantastic to hear. But for brokers who are already with us, just as a refresher to you, we have 3 levels of membership and we have 4 levels of listing. So starting on the membership tiers, this chart shows you the features of being a BizBuySell member. The basic membership is shaded in gray. Premium membership is in blue, and elite obviously is in gold. And so these levels every level will provide you with leads and inquiries from those who are drawn to us through Google search and come to our broker directory. You're just going to get more at the premium and elite level. Why? You get higher exposure, meaning you're going to be attracting clients because you're going to be at the top of the sort order. You're going to be present in more geography than the other levels. And then you get additional extra bells and whistles that comes with that membership that I'm going to describe in a second. So first and foremost, how do you get inquiries is by casting a net. So the basic membership is going to give you exposure for your business brokerage in one county, and we choose it by county. And then you see the blue shaded area here, that's 4 additional counties. So if you're a premium level member, then you get exposure in up to 5. And this is in the state of California. And then should you be an elite broker, then that's shaded in gold, and that means you get up to 10 counties. So again, one way to get people to connect with you is to see you. One way they're going to see you is where you're present. And again, the premium and elite level memberships just give you that wider visibility in more counties. And it's going to lead to more inquiries and more engagements. Also, premium and especially elite members get much more exposure on the BizBuySell platform. There's 3 examples here. In the top left, you're going to see in our broker directory. So when you navigate to find a business broker, we start featuring elite brokers right off the bat at the very top of the search results. These are rotated among elite brokers. So if you don't see your name when you do a search, rest assured that on a rotation basis, you are going to be present here. The box below is the actual business for sale search results. So when a user searches by a category and or by a geography, right in those search results, we feature elite brokers, again, on a rotating basis on the search results page. And then thirdly, we do lots of marketing. We do lots of push marketing outreach out to buyers. We also have communications that we send out to sellers. We also have a broker newsletter, and we do feature elite brokers in those communications as well. It's just one more way that we're driving additional exposure to you within our platform and within our marketing. So another advantage of being a premium and elite member, and this is something that we see every day is underutilized, is the presence of a showcase plus email credit. So for those who aren't familiar, showcase plus email is a higher level of exposure of the listing in search results. It comes with a buyer blast and a prospect list. And if you're a premium or elite member, you get one credit added to your account as part of your membership. So for those of you who are premium and elite now, please go into your account and please make sure that you're utilizing this showcase plus email credit. It's included in your membership. It's a use it or lose it feature. So if a month goes by and you don't use it, it gets removed from your account and then replaced by another one. So they don't accumulate, but that's just an additional way for you to increase your exposure on our platform with this showcase plus email credit that comes with your premium or elite membership. So what listings should you upgrade and which ones should you not? And I guess as Lisa Riley would say, it depends, right? So it doesn't make sense to upgrade a listing where within either the category or either within the geography, there's just very few results. So if there's only a few results on the page, it probably doesn't make sense to elevate that to a higher level. If the business is priced to sell, meaning lower commissions for you, or maybe no urgency on behalf of the seller, you may not choose not to upgrade that listing. Where should you upgrade? Competitive markets, larger markets, a gas station in Los Angeles, you should probably have a desirable, in a competitive market listing higher in the search results to distinguish it from the competition, as opposed to a tanning salon in Keokuk, Iowa. So look at your market, look at the competition in your market. When you're assessing where to place the listings, do the searches on the platform. Go into BizBuySell and search the geography, search the category, search all across to see what is your competition and to see if it makes sense to apply your credit or to otherwise upgrade the listing. So these are the three listing levels. Diamond listing drives about 10 times the amount of leads. So that's when we talk about if there's urgency, if it's competitive. It's not just pushing the listing to the top of the search results. You see how it's bigger exposure on the page. It gives you that ability, if you see to the right there, to contact you immediately from there. So they don't need to click through into the listing in order to contact you, the broker, to leave an inquiry about it. So for those of you that have BrokerWorks memberships, I encourage you, please log into your account and please look at your listing statistics. Bob mentioned at the very beginning of this call that we're looking at improvements to having those listing statistics display easier in your BrokerWorks platform. But in the meantime, until that's released, please look at your listings. There's a button that says edit listing. You go in, you can view the stats and it'll show you. And you don't just need me to tell you the additional exposure and the additional lead volume that this exposure gives you. Do it yourself. Apply your Showcase Plus email credit, go back and take a look at the listing statistics. And more often than not, you're going to see both from volume of lead and frequency of leads that this additional exposure absolutely makes sense. you're going to get leads at every level. A basic listing in a competitive category with lots of results on the page, you are going to get leads. It's just when they're elevated to the top and higher in the search, they're going to get more, and they're going to be at higher volume, and they're going to come quicker. So this is just a table that shows the 4 levels of listing: basic listing, the showcase choice. So you have the ability to take some of your listings and rotate them through showcase level, which is the second tier. The showcase choice, showcase plus email credit is applied. That comes with a prospect list and a buyer blast. The diamond listing gets you to the top of the exposure. It drives 10 times the number of leads. In addition to that, you get to really sell the listing as Len was describing. You get unlimited photos, 2 videos, 3 attachments, and then you get a monthly buyer blast on top of that. So where it makes sense, and you can talk to your Biz Buy Sell account rep, and we can consult with you and look at the listings, help you assess them to see if and when you should upgrade those to diamond level. So I'm really happy that we've been able to build out over the last year and a half a broker account management team in the US. Linnea and Isaac started with us in July of last year. Jen joined us in San Diego at the beginning of this year. And I'm happy to say that as of today, every business broker in the US has a rep. I'm happy to welcome Jordan Boyle and Rob Borelli to the team. They both joined us on Monday. They come with a lot of experience in commercial real estate, in actual business brokerage, and in online marketing. And so this is their 4th day on the job today. So give us some time, but when the time is right, they will be reaching out to you for those of you within their territories, and they'll be able to help. In the meantime, Linnea, Isaac, Jen, and myself are here, and we're happy to assist. All right, let's give out some prizes. Have we put the link in the chat, and are we getting responses?
So the link is in the Q&A. So pop open the Q&A and you should see the link. If you don't, just ask in there and I will send it directly to you.
Great. And any sense of the number of surveys we've received?
So far, we've received about half. So pick it up, people. I do have a couple questions.
Go for it.
Okay, the first one, I think this is the most important one. Doug, what do you have against Keokuk, Iowa?
Nothing against Keokuk, Iowa. I have not been there. But years ago, I worked for a guy who, when he was describing a small market, he mentioned Keokuk, Iowa. So just came right off the top of my head. My apologies to anyone in Keokuk, Iowa.
Got it. Okay. So I have one for Ron. And Warren Davis says, how about Live Oak HQ? You could definitely make an impact if you were to take over a closet or something. I can't tell if that's a joke or not, but I figured I'd throw it out there.
Live Oak is about a mile from my house, their new headquarters. And it's so funny because the brokerage industry is like, oh, I know where Wilmington is now. That's where Live Oak is. So so they put us on the map.
Sweet.
I had a feeling it was something like that. John Butcher, hopefully I'm not butchering just wanted to point out that Adobe Photo Stock has a great place to buy stock photos. And another one that we recommend is Pexels.com, which is PEXELS.com. Free stock photos, and they have hundreds of thousands, I believe.
Yeah, we recommend Pexels. It's free. All the photos are free, and they're Biz Buy Sell worthy. They're good photos, but I think, if you do want to pay for photos of higher quality, I think Photoshop is the way to go. Photo stock, sorry.
And then another question. So this is really for the brokers on the call. What does a standard commission on a business broker deal look like? Sorry, very new to this market. I've been in real estate for 2 years, but branching out. From John McMahon.
Lisa.
We cannot break any laws here. So we cannot discuss commissions, but on average, you will see a business broker range from probably about 5 to 12, 13, 14, 15%. Isn't that what you see, Ron? Without getting very.
Yep, that's what I see.
Hey, Adam, real quick. Thank you, Lisa. That's helpful. I'm getting a lot of people asking about the link. Maybe just go back a slide so that if nothing else, they can type it in.
There you go. And I will do my best to respond to those folks. And Linnea, I know, is helping. Linnea and our team has been a huge help throughout this.
Thanks,
So,
Linnea.
yeah, Bob, we actually have a question for you if you want to take it.
Sure.
So this is about the industry selection on BizBuySell. And it is, what is the strategic reason for not expanding the list of industries our listings appear in? It doesn't serve the buyer or the broker. I can't see any reason why you would not be providing the best search and exposure experience for all parties. Looking forward to understanding this.
That's a great question. That's a very common question that we get. And we do our best. We'd love to hear feedback on suggested categories. But what we always have to do is balance how people search for businesses and, literally from Google and on our site with also the inventory available. So we can get really, really granular on industries and categories, but then you go to search on that and you find one listing. And as soon as you narrow to a state or a region or a price range, you have kind of the null set for the results. So it's a constant balancing act between, having the right categories where there's enough critical mass and where people are searching for that kind of thing, and going too deep where you end up finding a lot of empty spots. So we do our best. We love hearing that feedback. We're constantly trying to tweak it. We've updated over the years, but if you have, like these are hot categories right now, times have changed and we're missing that, please let us know. We're happy to always revisit that. And I know our product team would love to, and our SEO team would love to look at that as well.
Yep, we do get that question a lot. All right, Adam, are we ready to give out some prizes?
I'm still plugging in some links here.
Well, maybe while you're doing that, I'll mention that we have yet more additional prizes. Wait, there's more. There are going to be 15 lucky winners of a branded BizBuySell Yeti Rambler 20-ounce tumbler. It keeps your cold drinks cold and your hot drinks hot. I proudly use my BizBuySell Yeti on a daily basis when I'm here in the San Francisco office. There's water in here, by the way. And wait, there's more. Anybody who participated, anybody who registered is actually going to receive a Showcase Plus email credit put into your BizBuySell account. So need not be present to win this one. So be on the lookout in your account for this credit to be applied. And I know my broker team is going to be reaching out to those with credits to help you use them in the right way.
And while I respond to this is awesome, by the way. Like Doug said, one of the biggest issues we have is people not using Showcase Plus email credits. So this is a great chance for you to get in there, really understand what that product is for free. Who doesn't love free things? And
use it and then look at your listing statistics and see what happens.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then I have a question from Janice Pratt, who says, "This, I believe this is for the brokers on the call. Are you seeing an increase in TTM financials used due to COVID fallout?"
Yes, especially depending. And TTM is trailing 12 months.
Hmm.
So we focus on that at times, and it depends on the business. Some businesses did really well during COVID, and their revenue, sales, bottom line, to everything went up. So we do look at that as well. The bigger the business, definitely.
Also, this is Lynn, as a add-on to that, actually, it's a good practice if you're doing valuations. If you have let's say you have less than 4 months in the current period, you should be using trailing 12 months for the current one anyway. Otherwise, especially if it's a seasonal business, otherwise you're going to get all kinds of unintended consequences, because most valuation technology or programs annualize. Now you're going to annualize on a short period of time. So
Okay.
I believe in trailing 12 months a lot.
Yes. And one more thing, I did see a question about the market pulse with Canadian buyers. There are Canadians who answer the question, and the goal is at some point to get I'm not sure what's going on with Zoom.
She's having some technical difficulties there. Lisa? I think we lost her. Oh,
I'm not sure what's going on with Zoom today, but it keeps giving me errors. Anyway, it's not there yet, but the goal is at some point to do a Canadian version as well.
great. Adam, any other questions that are coming through?
Yes, there is one. One sec. Sorry. How do you, okay, this is from E. Seifert, but I think might be Eric Seifert. If it is you, Eric, nice to have you on the call. Haven't talked to you in a while, but great to hear from you. If it's not, still great to hear from you. How do you counter the buyer who is hung up on a 3-year average SDE for valuation with the client who has suffered in 2020?
You always adjust, positive or negative, and 2020, it depends upon the business, but we have done multiple things with 2020. Sometimes 2020 is not included if they want to use it. Sometimes it's adjusted as is. Of course, if there was PPP money, that's a whole nother story.
Right.
It does not count as revenue, people.
Well, and also the, if they're hung up when they want 3 years, it doesn't mean you wait all the years equally.
Mhm.
So what have you done for me lately? Is, the most recent is going to be weighted much higher unless it's a partial year. Be careful in that.
Okay, does everyone have the link for the survey at this point? Doug, if you want to go back to that page just one more time.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, it looks like everyone has it. Wow, that was my fingers hurt from going in and responding to that many people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that wasn't working for everyone. We had it set up for the Q&A to display for everyone, but it sounds like there was an issue there. So,
Well, I hope the quiz was not too grueling.
I mean, the question about the win-loss record for the Oakland A's, I think, might have stumped people. So I'm going to go behind the scenes really quick and pick a winner. And I'll be right back.
Great. I think this has been a great summit today, everyone. And, thanks again to Lisa and to Ron and Len for your expertise. Bob, would you like to say a few words as we close out the 2022 Broker Growth Summit?
Yeah, actually, I was going to say the same exact thing. I mean, Lisa, Ron, Len, you guys killed it. We got a lot of really positive feedback from folks in the Q&A. Thank you for taking the time to present that excellent, very useful content. Really appreciate it. We'll be setting a survey, I'm sure, at the end of this webinar, not only so that you can know how to get access to the content. Of course, there's a lot of questions about that. Yes, you'll have the recording, a link to the recording available. We'll have the deck available, but we'll also want to get your feedback. So tell us what you thought of this event. We'll do it again next year, and we want to keep improving on it. So give us ideas of speakers you want to hear, content you want to see, and we'll take that into account and make sure that we continue to improve on these things. Yeah. Is there anything
Bob, I was just going to also make a pitch for content. We are always looking for articles and content from broker customers. So, don't be shy about reaching out to Adam or to us if you have an article or if you have some content that you'd like to share. It helps our users understand the market better, and it's good for us and you. Absolutely. So hopefully you guys have seen that we've been featuring some great content contributed by business brokers. I had a slide earlier on that. So we're looking to expand that program. So if you want to write for BizBuySell, be published on our site. We'll give you attribution, link to your bio, and please reach out to Adam, and he manages that program. We'll feature it in our various newsletters, etc.
Hey, is CoStar a publicly traded company?
CoStar is a publicly traded company. In fact, we're just admitted to the S&P 500, which was kind of a big milestone a couple of weeks ago. So yes, CoStar is a publicly traded company. Has been since 1998.
Great.
The other thing I'll say is, just in general, while we're waiting for the results, is we love to hear feedback on how to make the platform better. And I know I'm making a plug right now for our product team and our product development team.
So 3 and then 2.
So if you have ideas, whether it's new categories or whether it's new features or some features not working exactly like you'd like, or you like the way something worked better and we changed it, please reach out. Our contact information is on the website. Many of you have our contact information for Adam and myself. We'll make sure it gets to the right people, but we want to hear that feedback, and we'll do occasional surveys on that. We've done product surveys where we've asked, and that's helped inform what we've decided to build. The comps came out of that. Well, it was a popular request last time we did that survey. So we're due for another one of those. Probably expect one of those around the end of the year, and help us plan for next year. This is a good time of year to do this and provide this feedback so we can make sure we consider that for next year. Adam, we're stalling as best as we can. How are we looking?
I saw one question come in about EBITDA. A CPA did an EBITDA. Are you ready, Adam? Do we have a winner?
Yeah, but you do that first.
Okay. How do you get somebody comfortable with SDE versus EBITDA? Well, if it is a well-run business, the multiples should actually average out to be close to the same. And you go on the type of buyer who's likely to buy it. So in a short nutshell, that's how it is. Otherwise, reach out to me or Len. We can give you a better explanation.
Adam, before you announce the winners, let me just thank everybody for their patience today. I know this is a long time to be sitting in front of a computer screen, but we appreciate you sticking around to the end. And again, thanks for your patience and attention. And Adam, take it away.
You're muted, Adam.
Unmute yourself, Adam.
Can you hear me now? So the way that I've done this is I took the respondents' names, regardless of the answers you selected, and plugged them into a randomizer. So that's the methodology for this selection. So I'll start with the Apple AirPods. Okay, so the 3 winners are Josh Road Walters, number 1, Sunshine Hall, number 2, and Trisha Bernhardt, number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of you for winning the AirPod Pros. We'll follow up with you for details on getting those sent out to you. Okay, now on to the iPads. We have Jim Eaton and Ryan Partial. So congrats. I actually just lost my iPad, so giving these away is like driving me crazy, but it's okay. Okay, finally, grand prize. This is for the Hilton Vacation $2,500 value. The grand prize winner is Bill White Jr. So congratulations, Bill. Very cool giveaway. Okay, so these Yetis are great. So don't feel bad if you didn't win one of the bigger prizes. The Yeti list, I'm just going to go through this quickly. Tyler Bowman, Eric Seifert, AJ Ramsey, Kimberly Ramsey, Sonia Petratis, Ross Hames, Jeff Matthews, Jeff Hofflander, Emmett Apollinario, hi Emmett, Janice Pratt, Elias Layden, Ellen Zarucha, sorry if I'm butchering these names, Christopher Fagnant, Aaron Thom, Tony Sanson. So those are our Yeti winners. Thanks for sticking around for that. It's been a blast.
That's awesome. Adam, thank you. Congratulations to all the winners. One final shout out. I want to acknowledge the marketing team who put a lot of work into pulling off this event. Brenda, Adam, Ria, and Brendan. You guys are the behind the scenes magic that makes sure that this comes off without a hitch. And I think we did pretty well. We're finishing right here on time for what we budgeted. So thank you. Great job, guys.
Appreciate
And
it.
everybody's going to get an email with a hot link to get the content, right?
Yep.
So we're going to email the link this time.
Got
it. Yes. You'll get a video recording. Give us a little bit, but video recording, you'll get a PDF, and then we'll outline some Q&A and send that along to everyone as well.
Okay.
So thanks
Thank
everyone
you.
for attending and the presenters. This was awesome. Looking forward to doing it again next year.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you.